Oh shit. Chapter 489. Just wow. I have so many questions. Did Luffy just get confirmation that Ace is in the process of being executed? Because Lola, Lola goes through this whole spiel. She says to Nami, like, hey, I'm going to give you this life paper. I'm going to sign it. If you ever get in a bind, it'll take you towards my mother. I'm from the New World. She says, you can just find my mama if that happens. And what I got to thinking, right? I was just like, who the fuck is your mama? Like, that's a big bitch thing. I'm sorry for that, man. Like, I know I got some female viewers who watch this, and I just couldn't help that one, man. That's a big bitch. Like, that's a really big bitch. Her mom's gotta be huge. Like, anyway, man, because I'll end up cracking some offensive jokes at this point. But what's really cool is the fact that paper like this does exist, and Oda, it just shows you how much Oda plans this stuff out in advance, because Ace gave Luffy life paper, didn't tell him what it was, but gave it to him, and Oda used it. Like, if that was Alabasta, if what happened with Arlong Park was like in the 60s, Alabasta had to be somewhere around the 100s. So probably like 89 to 100-ish, somewhere around there. The fact that as far back as that, and we're almost 500 chapters into One Piece, and it's being brought back up, like, Oda, man, Oda's good when it comes to this stuff. This is really impressive, the fact that he was setting up Ace's death as far back as that. Because he was on his hunt for Blackbeard. Blackbeard becomes one of the 7 warlords. Luffy has a life paper. It lets him know that this is what's going on. And it makes me wonder this. It makes me wonder, what the hell's so special about Fishman Island? Because Oda's been cock teasing us about this. He's been teasing us, okay? Because after like the Eames Lobby stuff, they're supposed to go to Fishman Island. Thriller Bark happened. And now you get like name drops. We find out about the Pirate Empress Hancock. We find out about the mermaids, and Sanji gets the nosebleed when he figures out that the mermaids don't wear panties. And, because Brook was like, can we see the mermaid's panties? Like, Brook got like a one-track mind, man. Like, him and Sanji, they're going to be a perverted duo. That's going to be so fucking awesome, man. That's going to be really awesome. But once again, if you look at how Oda does his themes, one of the things that we're seeing is there is a theme of death. We had Brook lose his crew and all these emotional moments, and even after Luffy lets him join the crew, because Brook asks, can you join? Luffy says, sure thing. Everybody freaks out, but Brook's story is a story of death. Just like in Water 7, it was the story of Tom that had death in it. And now with Eames Lobby, it was a story of death. Rob Lucci killed a whole bunch of people. Nico Robin was on the verge of dying. She was being sacrificed. Now you have this. And it's very fitting that in the same chapter that Oda has Brook see a memorial that's built by Usopp and Franky, and it's for his crew. It's very fitting that we see something like this, because you got Zoro, he's dropping the sword down, says this is a dead sword. Like, the overwhelming sense of death is there, and it's being hammered in. And because manga's a visual medium, it's harder to understand, but at the same time, setting is so much easier to get. It's not like how in like a novel where like the description setting is a character in itself. Setting is used to foreshadow. You have to look at certain things like, what does this character being on a dark road symbolize? Like, look at the character arc, the progression. Does this reflect, say, an internal turmoil? What does the storm represent? Small things like that. And one of the things that Brook noticed in his flashback is that we had tornadoes, chaos. Luffy's about to be thrust into chaos. But at the same time, you have Fishman Island just dangling there. So where's this going? Like, Oda has yet again hit a fork in the road. And it's like every time they turn to go to Fishman Island, something happens, they go another direction. So what's Oda hiding at Fishman Island? That's the first thing. But the second thing, Luffy. It's going to use that life paper to follow where Ace is. So again, how does Shanks tie back into this? Because you have the whole thing with Brook. Brook plays the song that Shanks' crew always sang. Shanks was fighting Whitebeard. Whitebeard is essentially responsible for anything that happens to Ace because he sent him on there. This is going to be key. What's going to happen here? Like, what's going to happen? Like, Oda, I almost think what happened, and I want to give Oda more credit than this, but Oda is human, so mistakes do happen. But it almost feels as if Oda meant for the Straw Hats to go to Fishman Island, and then he got to the point where he said, I'm saving this one. There's something he's still trying to work out the kinks for, and because One Piece is a weekly series, it is possible to say you're going one way and then go another direction, but the story you come up with has to be so good that people overlook this. And the benefit I have is I can read a few of these chapters one after another, and so I'm better able to follow where Oda's going. But it feels like he dangled Fishman Island out there, and he's trying to come up with something, some type of resolution for that, or there's something in that plot point, that storyboard that doesn't quite fit. I know Oda meticulously plans, but the whole thing with Ace developing at the same time, I feel like he needed to go to Thriller Bark in order to go there to set that up, and Fishman Island just makes more sense to happen after the fact. So I mean, that's going to be really interesting. Like, maybe Fishman Island's like the last island before the New World. It would make sense because wasn't this island underground and the New World's filled with so much crazy wonky shit, so that would make sense. But at the same time, the Grand Line, you only go one path once you get on that path, if I remember that correctly, and Luffy's on the path that Gold Roger was on. So I'm really curious to know what happens if Luffy ventures off. Say Ace, I believe it was Impel Down. I think that's what the newspaper that Moria was having read to him said. So is that further off the beaten track? But at the same time, maybe it's on the same path, because you have to remember, they went to Eames Lobby and they're still on the same course that they were on before. So, I mean, that's going to be interesting just to see where that's going. But the fact that you have the life paper, that's key. Everything else that happened in this chapter gets thrown out the way, because Lola looks, after going through this whole thing, telling Nami, or she calls her Namizo, and she says, like, hey man, my mama gave me this. If you get into trouble, my mom's going to take care of you. And, you know, we came from the New World, so Lola's mama's in the New World, and I guess it's going to bail the Straw Hats out at some point because Nami has that paper. But the other thing, because that suggests that there is trouble waiting for a moment in the New World. But the other thing that you have to take into consideration is Lola says, let me see that paper. And she says, yeah, Luffy's like, yeah, it's just gotten withered down and something's going on with it. But hey, you know, things have happened. And Lola says, no, this reflects the life force of the person. Was this given to you by someone dear? And Luffy smiles and says, yeah, it was given to me by my big brother. And you can tell Luffy, it hasn't hit him yet what she's saying. And Luffy, this is where Luffy, being the typical idiot main character shonen lead, comes into play. He's only half listening to her, and he's just thinking, oh, yeah, my brother, Ace. And you can tell he's just recalling all these different memories, and he's filling in the blanks with his own memory. And that's where you need characters like Nami, who's the stereotypical female shonen lead character, to smack sense into him, which she didn't do in this chapter, but to smack sense into him and to keep him back on track. And Lola points out, like, something's going on with your big brother then. So that's going to be key, the direction Oda takes this. Are they still going to Fishman Island? Are they going to meet this Empress, Pirate Empress Hancock? Which, that's interesting. Like, Pirate Empress? So we have the... I just thought about this. Hold on. We have the 7 warlords. And I'm pretty sure, like, Shanks and them are called the 4 emperors, right? The 4 emperors of, like, the New World. So an empress, is she like one of these emperors, like, wife to be or something? That would be pretty cool. And again, if she's on Fishman Island, maybe that means that this is the last stop before the New World. That's gonna be key. And let me know if I got that mixed up. I know sometimes that's one of the downfalls of me reading the chapter and then jumping right into the review, because I like to do it as a reaction so I can just speak to you guys like one friend talking to another friend about this really cool series that I'm getting into. And that's where you guys kind of check me and say, no, 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 you got this right, but you know, you got this too. So that's going to be really, really key. But you know, my chapter question to you guys is, what was your thought when you found out how the life paper worked? And if you had life paper, who would you give it to? But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching the end of the video, guys. Have an awesome day.